black, burnt, run down, burnt to the ground, not there. This is what 2/3 of the Wilderness Canoe Base Camp looked like after the 2007 Ham Lake fire. The camp is a church-based camp in North Minnesota and was burnt devastatingly by the Ham Lake fire in 2007. There's definitely a great need to rebuild the camp for many reasons. The Wilderness Canoe Base is a church-based camp and is located in northern Minnesota on Lake Seagull on two islands, Dominican and Fishhook. There is, according to the Wilderness Canoe Base website, it was founded by Ham Moose in 1956, who founded PCYC, Plymouth Christian Youth Center, and it was meant for troubled youth to come up and experience wilderness as part of a spiritual quest or a way to get away from their problems in the city. Also, according to their website, in the beginning, the camp mission was all about bearing burdens, not only packs and canoes, but as well as life's failures and problems. It serves hundreds of youth every summer, and now it expanded from back in 1956 when it was just boys, now extended to families, women, children, the whole deal. So it definitely has expanded since then. In 2007, on May 5th, there was a large fire started. It started because a camper had not properly extinguished his campfire, and it led to the devastating fire of 2007, one of the biggest ones in that century, if not the biggest in the northern United States. According to the U.S. Fire Service and the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Ham Lake Fire Facts, 75,000 acres were burnt from this fire. If you think about that in terms of soccer fields, it's about 36,000 soccer fields worth of area that's just burnt or touched by the fire. According also to the Boundary Waters Canoe Base website, the damage to the camp directly was about $4 million. That's structurally, buildings and such like that. 2/3 of the camp was gone. The 2/3 of the buildings on camp were gone. According to Jedediah Sharmer, he thought that the camp was lucky as what was left. He said, "He left us with a chapel for worship, a shop to rebuild out of with all the tools and supplies, and a main lodge to field volunteers and folks that come up and help us." That's the owner of, or the head guy of the camp right now, and so he felt that that the Wilderness Canoe Base was lucky in what was saved and what wasn't burnt. So, in order for make it a little easier for the rebuilding process. Like I said, there's definitely a need to rebuild. For my third point, there's definitely a need to rebuild. There's been a lot of the rebuilding has started, but it's definitely nowhere near finished. Last year, what was burnt was camper cabins, staff cabins, outhouses, saunas, any type of structures besides the one I mentioned that were saved were pretty much burnt to the ground. Last year, they have started the rebuilding process, and they rebuilt the sauna, which is crucial to helping them keep clean because they don't use a lot of running water. They also have started to lay the new electrical lines throughout the camp, and also remodeled some of the older cabins, and also started a couple camper cabins. What they still need to do is this summer they need to finish the trail shack, which is a place where they keep all their supplies. They also need to put up 2 camper cabins as well as 3 staff cabins just for additional housing while kids are up there and stuff. They also need to finish the drying rack, and they also need a new strategy to bring in revenue, because after the funds from their insurance and the donations they've received run out, which is very soon, they don't have a really good idea of where they're going to get the rest of the money to help in the rebuilding process. And this is all according to the Wilderness Canoe website. In the news update section, they have a section that kind of follows the construction pretty well. I talked to staff member Andrew Shea, and he said that there's always a need for help around the camp, especially after the fire, from anywhere from construction to basically moving materials, helping the people who are actually building just move the stuff around, because it is kind of troublesome. It's on an island, so they have to ship everything out there and on canoes basically, and one paddle boat, so they do need help wherever they can get it. For my third point, the rebuilding process is very important to this camp for many reasons, just because of how influential it's been to a lot of kids, and just in general, wilderness programs are very important to kids in general. According to the Last Child in the Woods book, studies have shown that kids in wilderness programs exude higher self-confidence, self-esteem, optimism, and also a better way of dealing with problems, because in the wilderness you can't really run away from any problems that nature gives you. You kind of have to stare them in the face. Like if it's raining and you have to put up shelter, you kind of have to deal with that. You can't really go anywhere, and you just learn better problem solving techniques, and again, you're in a communal group, so it definitely helps that. Also, according to the Journal of Social Work, there kids in the wilderness programs, such as Wilderness Canoe Base, experience higher energy flow, understanding of natural life cycles, and appreciation of biodiversity, and have better community in relationships, because again, they're just with other people. They're in a setting that they usually aren't. Once you're uncomfortable, it kind of puts yourself out there and really gets you to know other people in a way that you might not. So in conclusion, the Wilderness Canoe Base is a camp in northern Minnesota that has been devastated in 2007 by a wildfire, and there definitely is a need to rebuild. So let's go rebuild.